Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine. Topping the headlines, Dominica joined the international community in observing Girls in ICT Day. We'll bring you a special report on that. The center of discussions among youth employment, and Japanese volunteer wraps assignment with the management unit of the Waitakubuli National Trail. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after the break.
The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development presents Math in Action, making math interesting and fun. Our master teachers will help you improve your problem-solving skills so that you can ace that exam, helping you conquer the most difficult math problems. At any level, we'll make it simple through easy-to-follow tutorials. Join us every week on the Government Information Service for Math in Action, brought to you by the Numeracy Task Force of the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development.
Documentaries and in-depth discussions, community walkthroughs, and Yes We Care. See it all on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. Dominica joined the rest of the international community in observing Girls in ICT Day on Thursday under the theme Girls to Invent for the Future. Established through a formal resolution by the International Telecommunications Union in 2010, the annual event aims to create a global environment that empowers girls and young women pursuing careers in the ICT field. Minister responsible for ICT, Honorable Ambrose George, encouraged young people to pursue careers in the field of ICT.
You could work anywhere, and the skills you gain will be transferable throughout your career. There's a huge choice of areas where you can work, from the commercial sector and government agencies to not-for-profit sectors and research. You can work as consulting professionals or even set up your own e-business. You can provide ICT solutions to the local real estate agency or hotels, or to utility companies here and in the region, or to a multinational finance company. The sky's the limit. If you are creative, smart, and into ICT, whatever your passion, whatever your interest, you can couple it with ICT to create the career of your life.
The minister appealed to girls to get involved in the ICT sector.
Today, as we celebrate Girls in ICT Day and embrace the theme, Girls to Invent for the Future, I invite you to walk through the open door of ICT into a realm of new horizons and new relationships. Design your future. If you desire success, then create it. If you want to make a difference, then design your future. Be determined. Be courageous. You're only as good as you think you are. So make the most of your opportunities and give it your best shot. Go girls, go for ICT.
ICT jobs are consistently ranked among the top 20 careers with the best pay and best long-term prospects, and the technology industry remains one of the world's most robust sectors, creating strong ongoing demand for young tech professionals. To this end, the government of Dominica has been working at its vision of ensuring that the island's human resources are globally competitive and knowledge-based in the field of ICT. Meanwhile, students of the Orion Academy on Thursday had an opportunity to make special ICT presentations at their school. Tanya Green visited the school and has more in this report.
The presentations, which were done using digital and PowerPoint presentations, sought to highlight some of what these enthusiastic learners have been taught in the subject of ICT. The students' presentations also featured how women and girls have made an impact in the field of ICT. First form student Natalia Nassif shared her research information about American-born graphic designer Susan Kerr. Another student, Nirvana Jones-Armour, says learning ICT has been fun. She tells GIS News that she has been able to incorporate skills learnt into her everyday school and personal life.
ICT has impacted my life because when I have like homeworks to do, it's easier to do it on like Audacity or PowerPoint presentation or Prezi.com instead of using other things like PowerPoint, because Prezi looks much better and it might get you a better grade because it's like really good. So it makes me feel proud of myself. And when my brother's like, oh, I feel good because my brother's like, how do you use this program? I'm like, oh, this is how we use it and stuff like that.
Would you encourage other young girls like yourself to get involved in ICT?
Yeah, because I find it's really fun actually if you really know what you're doing, because when you first start you're like, oh gosh, like, I don't really want to do this, but when you really get into it you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next class and stuff like that.
Part of Thursday's activity at the Orion Academy involves students interacting with working professionals in ICT. ICT management specialist working with the government of Dominica, Robert John, spoke to the students about his interesting career in ICT. During his long career, John has been able to amass a wealth of knowledge and experience working with a number of international organizations in the United Kingdom. Mr. John spoke to the students about the successes of women involved in ICT whom he has had the pleasure to work with.
My first role in IT was working on IBM's global finance system, which was a 5-year project, which I spent a year on that project. And key individuals within that team were women in IT, one of which was I was a programmer, application programmer, working alongside a female programmer who was employed as super graduates. So we excelled in our discipline of technology, and some of us were not in technology, but had the aptitude to embrace technology. And we worked on the development of that application. And moving on from there, I worked at Citibank. I don't know if many of you probably know Citibank. It's now Citigroup, working on the second largest charge card system in the world for Diners Club. Also within that team there were women.
The ICT management specialist advised the students to think global and to approach the field of ICT with an open mind.
You represent the future of technology because the industry now is global. It's no longer a case of America or Japan or the UK or Europe. It's truly global. We all have access to technology and we can always add something to technology, whether it's in terms of our ideas, in terms of things we do. It's becoming easier now to access IT and develop things. I mean, I've been impressed today by the small projects. There's aspects in the small projects that I haven't done or I can't do, and I'm classified as a specialist because I work in a narrow area, but the industry is so broad.
Teacher responsible for teaching all the great stuff about ICT at the Orion Academy, Abigail Woodman, says the school has reaped encouraging success in teaching ICT as part of its syllabus.
I think we're very successful because we try not to stick to the typical syllabus. As you saw in the presentations, we try to expand to programs that will actually be useful to the students, and not only useful, but things that are going to be engaging as well. So things that they won't find boring, and so they're able to do sound editing, video editing, and they're able to apply it in their everyday lives. They're able to do little projects and presentations that they can use for their other classes as well, not just the ICT class. And so we really try to encourage an environment where ICT is used in almost every subject, and they can use the things that they've learned to present for other subjects as well.
Woodman says while the focus this week is on women in ICT, the school has been encouraging both boys and girls to explore the field of ICT.
And it's something that the school is advocating for all the students, of course, not just the girls, but also the boys as well. However, in keeping with the theme of this particular week, which is a celebration of the successes of the women in the field of ICT, now we're trying to encourage our girls to be as proficient as the boys. At times, the boys can tend to be more technical, because they're more inclined to sort of play around with things and see how it works. And so we're doing different projects to encourage the girls to be more hands-on as well. We sometimes would introduce programs to them that are not necessarily part of the syllabus, but we do a brief introduction, and then we encourage students to keep working on it themselves. So that way they do sort of a self-discovery. They're able to find out what that program can do on their own. And then later down they do a project and show what they've discovered so far, and all these features that they were not necessarily taught in school, but they were able to teach themselves. And so in that way we're teaching them to teach themselves.
Putting into practice what they have learned, teaching themselves and exploring other opportunities in ICT is what these students at Orion Academy have been doing. It is hoped that this valuable knowledge will assist them in taking advantage of the exciting and far-reaching opportunities in the world of ICTs. For National Focus, I am Tanya Green reporting.
Thank you, Tanya, for that report. Japanese volunteer specializing in environmental studies, Katsumi Mayura, who has been attached with the Waitakobili National Trail Management Unit for the past 3 months, has successfully ended his stint in Dominica. During his assignment, Mayura was involved in conducting research and documentation in the areas of ecology and geology. He also had the opportunity to learn about the 14 segments of the Waitakobili National Trail and to interact with several community residents about the island's cultural heritage. In delivering a summary of his accomplishments, Mayura said the island's flora and fauna is exceptional and is deserving of world-class recognition.
Dominica, I think, is unique in having all of this, being all of these features. I think this deserves more like world-class attention.
The Japanese official says efforts must be made to preserve the national trail. He has encouraged Dominicans to inform themselves about the trail and consider possible hikes along the trail. Meanwhile, operations manager at the Waitakobili National Trail, Rosalind Paul, is thankful for the partnership with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, through its volunteer program. Paul says the work done by the Japanese volunteer will be beneficial to the continued work of the Trails Management Unit.
A lot of his work was focused on research and documentation in the area of ecology and geology, and which is very important for input into our own work as regards our natural and cultural heritage interpretation that we will continue to share with schools, with visitors, with locals, so that we can stimulate or ensure that persons appreciate the value of our forest resources and of the heritage that the trail embraces.
Rosalind Paul says that the Japanese volunteer has also provided the Trails Management Unit with valuable information which will assist in the continued promotion of the trail.
He has provided important information that will help to enhance our trail information maps and further improvement of the trail that will fit visitors' profile and demands. Actually, his perspective is from a visitor's perspective. It is somebody who is not a Dominican who had the opportunity to look intimately at what it is we have and be able to apply that from a visitor's perspective. So that is very important to us. And so it gives us a base that we can make improvements to our trail information and to the very trail itself.
The information provided by the Japanese volunteer will also be used to train tour guides about the trail. The Waitakobili National Trail is considered to be the only long-distance walking trail in the entire Caribbean and allows hikers to encounter all the established ecotourism sites on the island. In more news, Dominica's Jazz and Creole this year will feature master pianist Monty Alexander as the headline act. The Jamaican-born artist recently celebrated his 50th year in music, having recorded over 70 albums. According to a release from the DDA, Alexander intends to captivate fans with a collection of standard and original songs, as well as exciting Jamaican rhythms. Alexander has set the groundwork for jazz music in the Caribbean by artistically fusing jazz with reggae, calypso, and other tropical genres. Alexander, who migrated to the USA in the 1960s, has performed with Frank Sinatra, Ray Brown, Quincy Jones, Tony Bennett, Sly Dunbar, and Barbara Hendricks, among others. The Discover Dominica Authority has planned an expanded jazz experience beginning on May 15th with a pan and jazz soiree at the Evergreen Hotel and ending with Riverside Jazz and Creole on Saturday, May 18th. Tickets for the main event on May 19 are currently available from the Dominica Festival's office as well as other ticket outlets in Roseau and Portsmouth. Meanwhile, Roseau Central Youth are the most recent consultants in a series of meetings to tackle the issue of unemployment among that age group. The meetings, organized by the Youth Development Division, brings together employers, policymakers, youth, and other stakeholders to discuss ways of combating the effects of unemployment. Youth Training Officer Gregory Revere, speaking at the start of the consultation on Wednesday, explained.
It's something that everybody should be concerned about, and I know it is something that is affecting young people the most. It can account for a number of other social ills in our society. The question of poverty, the question of jobs. A number of people may say when they get into jobs because they are unemployed. The question of teen pregnancy, prostitution, crime, violence can all be linked with that of unemployment.
The workshop featured addresses by 3 guest speakers followed by a group discussion. Alexander Stevenson of the Dominica Employment and Small Business Support Agency was the first speaker. He highlighted apprenticeship programs as one method used by the agency to combat youth unemployment. These programs, running from 2 to 6 months in duration, target the unemployed between the ages of 18 and 40.
The apprenticeship programs, and you would have probably heard some advertisements on the radio for this week as well as probably last week. We have 2 coming up beginning on the 10th of May. One in culinary arts is an 8-week program to teach persons, young ladies as well as young men between the ages of 18 to 40 years. Although in Portsmouth, we got that some people above 40 would like to be part of that program. And it gives persons the opportunity to acquire skill.
Stevenson also gave insight into current and upcoming vacancies in the job market.
What you will find, sports administrators and the Convent High School has started a program from last school year, or this school year, in introducing a few changes in subject offerings. So professional sports, tennis, football, cricket, basketball, athletics. We need to get facilities and we need to get organizations around those sort of entities. We have to start thinking more creative as to how we can get the numbers. Because these sports activities, they can take a large number of persons to either play amateur or professional or semi-professional. Okay? And we have to start seeing those as careers. Farming, farm managers, researchers, soil scientists, tissue culture technicians, biochemists, agricultural economists, greenhouse operations. Creative industries, music, film, television, news anchor, field journalists, investigative journalists, website and graphic designers, musicians, songwriters.
Youth Development Officer Matilda Popo dealt with the subject of securing the interview and staying employed. Also part of the consultation was a report from Chief Youth Development Officer Bernard Bontiff on the achievements of the Youth Division's flagship series, the Skills Training Program. This skills training program was initiated by the Organization of American States and USAID in a number of OECS countries. According to Bontiff, the program is one of the greatest contributions to local youth employment.
I'm very happy to say many of those programs, STP programs in the other OECS islands, have phased out. Dominica is 31 years into it and we are not giving it up, because it has done marvelous work for us. We have seen young people grow. And almost everywhere you pass in this country, somebody has to remind you, I did one of your programs. And then the other question, the other skills training people ask, what are you doing? And we're happy to know when they tell us, I am now a mason, I am now a carpenter, I am now a plumber, and I have my own little business and I'm employing other people. and that makes us feel good.
According to Bontif's report, the skills training program has made about 10,000 youth more ready for the job market. We'll bring you more from that consultation in a subsequent newscast. And that's news. When we come back, we'll bring you the tip of the day.
Listen closely and you will hear what climate change might sound like.
$30 for a hand of bananas?
Severe drought could destroy banana plants and drive food prices up.
And now we can see the dead coral reef below us.
Dead coral? I thought it was alive.
No, it's dead. If you look at the pictures, you can see what the coral used to look like.
Oh, wow.
Natural wonders like coral reefs are disappearing. But listen closely again, and you can hear the solution. People disposing of garbage responsibly and not in drains and rivers. People responsibly discarding engine oil. Our climate may be changing, but so can we. Making small changes together can have a huge effect on reducing the impacts of climate change. Act now. Rally, rethink, respond. This message is brought to you by the OECS Secretariat with funded assistance from USAID.
Today's tip is all about healthy aging. Healthy aging is about much more than staying physically healthy. It's about maintaining your sense of purpose and your zest for life. As we grow older, we experience an increasing number of major life changes, including retirement, the loss of loved ones, and physical changes. How we handle these changes, as well as regular day-to-day stresses, is the key to aging well. Focus on the things you're grateful for. Life becomes even more precious. And acknowledge and express your feelings at all times. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We welcome your suggestions and comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Fontaine. Thank you for watching.